Pakistani troops have fired on India's line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. The Indian news agency PTI reported this, citing sources. It was noted that the firing on the border was recorded in Tutmari Gali and Rampur districts. According to sources, Indian Army personnel responded with small arms fire. Some social networks say that Pakistan faced heavy losses at the LOC with multiple posts being dismantled across various locations. 5 days after the terrorist assault, in which gunmen killed 26 civilians, India has not officially identified any group as having carried out the massacre, and it has publicly presented little evidence to support its claim that Pakistan was behind it. The Pakistani government has denied involvement. There are clashes of these two countries. A military confrontation between India and Pakistan, both armed with nuclear weapons, runs the risk of rapid escalation that could be difficult to contain. But India is largely unrestrained by any global pressure to limit its response, and it has become quicker to flex its muscles in recent years as its diplomatic and economic power has grown. Pakistan says it is fully prepared to cooperate with any neutral investigators following Pahalgam attack. Armed police and soldiers are searching homes and forests for fighters in Kashmir, and India's army chief reviewed security in the region. The two countries have taken harsh diplomatic measures against each other, including closing land borders, cutting of trade and expelling security personnel. Recall, Pahalgam was a bustling tourist destination. Today, it's a ghost town. At least 26 people were killed on Tuesday in the picturesque tourist resort in the deadliest such attack in 25 years in Indian-administered Kashmir. Along the Lidar River, which winds through the picturesque valley, all the hotels have closed and shops stand shuttered. The town, which draws millions of visitors each year, has emptied almost overnight. Indian authorities have also targeted Bangladeshi nationals as they tighten immigration policies following the attack in Kashmir. The Times of India reports that India has detained and plans to deport a total of 1,024 undocumented Bangladeshis, most in the western city of Ahmedabad. Houthi rebels in Yemen have shot down 7 U.S. Reaper drones in less than 6 weeks, a loss of aircraft worth more than $200 million in what is becoming the most dramatic cost to the Pentagon of the military campaign against the Iran-backed militants. According to Associated Press, according to defense officials, 3 of the drones were shot down in the past week, suggesting the militants' targeting of the unmanned aircraft flying over Yemen has improved. The drones were doing attack runs or conducting surveillance, and they crashed both into the water and onto land, said the officials, who spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss military operations. The U.S. has increased its attacks on the Houthis, launching daily strikes since March 15, when President Donald Trump ordered a new, expanded campaign. He promised to use overwhelming lethal force until the Houthis cease their attacks on shipping along a vital maritime corridor. Central Command spokesman Dave Eastburn said Thursday night that the U.S. has struck more than 800 Houthi targets. These strikes have destroyed multiple command and control facilities, air defense systems, advanced weapons manufacturing facilities, advanced weapons storage locations, and killed hundreds of Houthi fighters and numerous Houthi leaders, Eastburn said. Another defense official said that although hostile fire is likely the cause of the drone losses, the incidents are still under investigation. The official noted that the increase in U.S. strikes can add to the risk to aircraft, but said the U.S. will take every measure possible to protect troops, equipment and interests in the region. The official spoke on condition of anonymity to comment on sensitive military issues. The sophisticated drones, built by General Atomics, cost about $30 million each, and generally fly at altitudes of more than 12,100 meters. Houthis leaders have consistently touted the strikes in public statements. One of the defense officials said the U.S. lost Reaper drones on March 31 and on April 3, 9, 13, 18, 19 and 22.
Turkey has reportedly mulled transferring its strategic Russian-made S-400 Triumph air defense missile systems to Syria. Such a move may be a gambit to regain authorization to buy American F-35 stealth strike fighters. However, doing so could risk igniting a crisis with Israel, Forbes reports. It is noted that in coordination with the new Syrian government of President Ahmed al-Sharaa, Turkey recently scoped out air bases in central Syria to deploy drones and air defenses. Israel expressed its opposition by bombing those same bases. Israel and Turkey are now negotiating a deconfliction mechanism to avoid potential accidents or clashes. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan has already warned about Israeli and Turkish fighter jets encountering each other in Syrian airspace, emphasizing the necessity and urgency for deconfliction. Forbes says Turkey reportedly plans on establishing a multi-layered air defense around the central Syrian T4 or Tias airbase. These would initially consist of short to medium-range Turkish Hisar systems, but could include a deployment of the S-400. Israel would undoubtedly view any deployment of the latter as provocative, as would the United States. In a recent letter to the State Department, Representatives Brad Schneider and Gus Bilirakis sought to emphasize the dangers of any Turkish deployment of the system to Syria. They highlighted the S-400's purported maximum range of 250 miles and anti-stealth detection capabilities, warning that its deployment could fundamentally alter the regional air defense landscape of the country. If positioned along Syria's western corridor, it could severely constrain Israeli operations against Iranian assets or Hezbollah supply routes, they wrote. This would degrade Israel's operational flexibility in the region and erode the technical basis of its qualitative edge that the United States has long worked to preserve. The letter also touches upon who would ultimately control the systems in Syria. Forbes says, moreover, ambiguity around system operators only adds fuel to the fire. Schneider and Bilirakis wrote, if Turkish personnel retain operational control, the risk of direct confrontation with Israeli forces becomes real. If Syrian or proxy forces take over, the US loses even more visibility and influence, introducing a new layer of strategic instability into an already combustible environment. Recall recently Sergei Narishkin, head of Russia's SVR Foreign Intelligence Service, held what he described as a constructive and friendly meeting with an unnamed representative of Syrian intelligence services. Narishkin said the meeting took place last week in Baku, Azerbaijan. No further details about the discussions were provided. Russia continues efforts to strengthen its military presence in Syria, where it maintains both an airbase and a naval facility.